Good morning everyone. Hope it's not too windy. I got the visor open because it's quite warm today. It doesn't look it, but it is very warm, right around the 20 odd degrees. Anyway, as you will have noticed by the title, we're off to hopefully review the Royal Enfield Himalayan 411 or 411 Scram, which I think you can describe as a naked Himalayan. But as I obviously own a Himalayan, the Brian, which we are sat on, it'd be interesting to do a comparison between the two, which is exactly what I plan on doing. When the Scram first come in, Richard, the salesman who organised these test rides for me, or reviews rather, great guy, he said it'd be interesting to hear my views on the 411 or 411, we'll call it a Scram, it's easier, compared to the normal Himalayan, the Brian. Now obviously I've owned the Brian for nigh on 9-10 months, something like that, and I've done around 5,000 miles on it, so I kind of know the bike really well. So today's plan is to take the Scram out, have a ride around, do a bit of a review, give you some details on it, and of course compare it to the Brian, see what the difference there is. Here we are folks, down at M&P's in Cardiff, and this is the 411 Scram or 411 Scram I'm going to be taking out. Parked right next to the Brian, because they are basically the same bike. They run the same engine, 24.5 brake horsepower, 32 Newton meters of torque. They have the same chassis. Now, there are a few minor differences, which I've looked this up. According to the information I found, the Brian weighs in at 191 kilos wet. The Scram is 185 kilos wet, I believe, but please do double check that in case I got it wrong. The Brian runs a 21-inch front tyre, or front wheel and tyre. The Scram runs a 19. And obviously, with the Brian, you get all the metalwork on the front end. You get the rack as standard. These are an add-on part for the panniers, which I have. With the Scram, you get just a handrail. None of the metalwork on the front, and it's a one-piece seat. On the Brian, two-piece seat. The other difference, of course, is the dash. I get the 3 clock setup. Scram gets 1 clock with the little sat-nav, a bit like the Beeline, I think it's called, sat-nav thing. It's like a turn-by-turn navigational aid. So yeah, as far as we can tell, those are the only differences. Did I mention seat height? If I didn't, apparently mine's 800mm and the Scram is 840mm. Apparently. Oh, there's a slight difference on the back end, I've just noticed. You see, is this plastic? Yeah, that's plastic mudguard. Mine's metal. And looking at it, it's slightly shorter, so you can fit a nice tail tidy on that. It would look quite nice. So okay, we're going to take the Scram out for a run, see what we think, a review and comparison to the Himalayan. By the way, mine's a Euro 4 because it's actually a 2020 bike, although it's registered 21, and the Scram would be the latest, which I believe is Euro 5. So minor difference, but I don't think there's much in it. Right, catch you in a wee bit. Toodles! Okay, first impressions of the Scram. Rides just like the Himalayan. It is slightly taller, I can feel it when I'm sat on it, I'm on tiptoe. Dash, nice and clear. Fuel gauge. Gear indicator. Clock, mileage, odometer, whatever. All adjustable off a button by ear. Unlike mine, which is a button on the dash itself, but no rev counter, which I'm not fussed on. I like a rev counter, but that's just me personally. Everything else is identical to my bike, apart from, I say, the information button here to alter the dash, and this one's got hazard lights fitted, which mine doesn't. Other than that, It does feel as though I'm very perched on the bike compared to sitting in the bike as I feel with the Himalayan, but I think that's because I got the screen on mine. That's your little sat-nav directional guidance, whatever you want to call it. I believe if you download the app and link it to Google Maps, it'll give you sort of general directions of left, right, forwards, backwards, whatever. Never tried. I generally use Google Maps on my phone anyway. Right, handlebars, much the same as I have on my Himalayan, same sort of style, riding position, exactly the same. The suspension on this feels more comfortable, I think is the best way to describe it. It's not stiffer or softer, it just seems to be smoother. And the seat is slightly more comfortable at the moment in comparison. Engine noise is slightly less. There's less mechanical noise on this bike to mine, although mine has done 5,500 miles and is coming up due for a 6,000 mile service, but I would definitely say the engine on this is mechanically quieter. Clutch is beautifully light. Front brake, like all the Himalayan range, wooden. It takes a bit of pressure to get the brake to work. There's lots of feel to it, but you do feel as though you're braking quite hard to slow it down. But then the bike isn't massive, it's not superpower, so it's not really an issue once you get used to it. Haven't tried the back brake yet, which I will do in a minute. Hang on, let's try it now. Yeah, just like mine, back brake is lovely. Needs bedding in mine. I mean, okay, it's done 19 miles. In comparison to the Himalayan, identical. Ride's the same. Gearbox is the same, slightly clunky, but it's a basic big single. No obtrusive vibrations through the bars or the foot pegs or anything. No more than you'd expect from a 400 single. Back brake, yeah, back brake's quite nice. Foot pegs are identical to mine. It's got the rubber inserts. I've unbolted mine, taken them out because I tend to go on some mud tracks now and then. Yeah. It's, as I said, it's probably a naked Himalayan. Yeah, just trying it now. The throttle response is quite a bit better on this one. As I said, it could be because it's new, it could be the fueling's been altered. I don't know. Yeah, the suspension is definitely smoother. Yeah, as I was saying, throttle response seems to be a lot smoother than the Himalayan, or mine anyway. Oh, we're sat here at the lights. A couple of things I've noticed about the Scram compared to the Himalayan. Right, first off, which I didn't notice till just now when I was riding through a lane, the riding position. I am very slightly leant forward compared to the Himalayan. On the Himalayan I'm very upright. With this one I'm slightly leant forward, which is very comfortable actually. But I think that's more down to bar position than anything. I've got the brace bars on my Himalayan, which are very upright and adventure styly, if you like. These are more road-based bars, I would say. You could roll them back a bit, but to be honest I wouldn't bother. I think it's a very comfortable riding position for me, along with the fact that I'm 5'6". Yeah, I don't think you'd have any issues if you were shorter or taller, other than seat height for someone who's shorter, because I'm on tiptoe. I've got a 30-inch inside leg. Yeah, if you're talking somebody with shorter legs than me, they are going to struggle a little with the height. Not a major drama, you could lower it I suppose, but just to be aware of that. The other thing I noticed, which I completely forgot about on the walk around bit outside the shop, these bikes do not come with a centre stand. At least not a standard. I'm assuming you can get an aftermarket one, or a an accessories add-on bit, you know. But there's no centre stand, which I think is essential, generally speaking, for maintenance. You know, chain adjustments, such like, you can use paddock stands, that's fine. That'll work perfectly well. I just find the centre stand is more convenient. Now, these are roads I ride quite regularly, so this will give me a good idea what this bike's like. And to be honest, so far, I've noticed very little difference between this and the Himalayan. One thing I found with the Himalayan, Brian, when I first bought it, was when you lean into a corner, it feels all of a sudden as though the front end just drops away. That's because it's got a 21-inch front wheel. Once you get used to that, because obviously I've been riding mostly road bikes which are all 17-inch front wheels, once you get used to that funky sort of drop into the corner bit, it's fine, it handles really well. And I run Mitas or Mitas EO7 tyres, which are quite aggressive. There's a little video on my channel somewhere about that. This one runs the, I presume they're the CEAT tyres, or Pirellis, same as my Brian came with originally. Perfectly good tyre for the road, adequate off-road if you're going to do a bit of mild green laning, which you can on this one, same as the Brian. You could probably do a lot more on these as with the Brian if you want to. Yeah, tyres are fine. Handling is absolutely fine once you get used to the odd front tyre sort of thing. This one, as I say, runs a 19-inch front tyre and an 18 rear, same as the original Himalayan. Oh, thank you. Don't think they like that. The interesting bit is, how does it feel on the front? And I'll be honest, it's quite nice. It's a little vague, but I think that's a case of getting used to it more than anything. I'm used to the 21-inch front wheel suddenly just sort of dropping into the corner, and I'm used to the 17s on like my BMW, which are very predictable. You know, where you point the bike is where it's going to go. The 19 is kind of a combination of the two. It's quite precise as to where you're pointing it, but it also feels a little bit vague to me on the corners. Like I said, this is only my opinion. I am no expert. It's just how I feel and how the bike feels to me. This is a brilliant, practical, fun bike that'll be very good as a commuter. Exactly the same as my Brian, my Himalayan. I think what it comes down to is a matter of taste and preference. Do you want what is effectively a naked Himalayan, or do you want a normal Himalayan? That's basically the options. Right then folks, I'm going to end the video here. Been a nice ride out on the Scram. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It is very much like the Himalayan, if you like a naked Himalayan. There we are, 50 miles an hour on this, much the same as the Himalayan. There's virtually no difference other than the fact you don't have the screen on it. Now, your choice, which do you prefer? Which suits your budget, which suits your purposes? Nice bikes. Anyway, thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let's say, if you're interested in the Scram or the Himalayan, pop yourself down to M&P's in Cardiff, have a look, take a test ride. It's free, just the same as subscribing to my channel. You like that little plug there? Yeah, if you want to subscribe, click the subscribe button, or click on subscribe, on the bell next to it, click on that and click all. That will notify you when I put my videos up, which are a little bit on the random side, a bit like me. If you like what you see, please click the like button. If you want to leave a comment, please do leave a comment in the comment section below, and I try to respond to all comments in some shape or form. And yeah, all this helps the algorithms for my YouTube channel, spreads the word. If you want to share my videos, please do go ahead and share them. So right, as I'm heading back to the shop now, indicated 60 miles an hour with no effort whatsoever, I shall say again thank you, and please everybody be safe, ride safe and have fun.